Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Urban Update. I'm Byron Barnett. On the show this morning, the fight to increase the hourly minimum wage in Boston to $15. Also, a look at Catholic schools and their recruitment efforts in the Latino community. And finally, we will give you all the details on how you can land a job at one of the largest construction job generators in the Commonwealth's history. But up first, recent evidence suggests that the number of people living on less than $1 a day is growing in most regions of the world. Also, in less developed countries, 1 in 4 children are engaged in labor that is detrimental to their health and development. The fair trade movement was created as a way to fight back against these injustices and provide economic growth for small farmers. And in 2010, Boston became the 20th fair trade town in the nation. To tell us more about this movement and the upcoming World Fair Trade Day, we've invited Executive Director for Fair Trade Boston, Ryan Edward Midden, and he is also the Director of Ben & Jerry's Boston. Ryan, welcome to Urban Update. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Well, first of all, just why don't we start by explaining to our viewers what exactly fair trade means, what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a third-party label on foods and handmade goods that basically it's a way to give small farmers in developing countries a competitive edge to give them leverage in the global economy.
And how exactly does fair trade ensure that the farmers are getting a fair price and good working conditions, no child labor?
Yeah, so the fair trade certifiers will actually inspect all the farms, and the fair trade premium, which is the additional money that's invested into these farms to cover things like environmental sustainability and human rights. This is agreed upon between the farmers, the cooperative that they're members of, and the company purchasing it. And so it's this additional money, again, that's called the fair trade premium that's reinvested into these communities.
And we're talking about, where were we talking about? Where are these communities? Outside, you say?
We're talking about like the global south, so Central, South America, Africa, Asia mainly.
Why should Americans care about focusing on fair trade for people in other countries?
Yeah, I think for the most part, Americans do care where their products come from. I think it's organizations like Fair Trade and a label like Fair Trade can tell those stories a little better for you. They can give you a little glimpse into what's happening with these commodities, things that we take for granted for every day, like bananas, coffee, sugar, tea.
And what I was going to say, what are some of the fair trade products that our viewers can purchase?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the major commodities, again, bananas, coffee, chocolate, sugar, tea, but also, there's cotton. There's a line coming out right now with Patagonia that's, fair trade cotton. We're working with a great company called Senda, and it's actually fair trade soccer balls, and the fair trade certification there is actually on the factory. So it's specifically in the same way that with a farmer is the land, and this is the fair trade soccer ball factory.
Now, how does a consumer know they're getting fair trade products, and are there differences between the different labels?
Yeah, there's one that's housed right here in the U.S. It's Fair Trade USA, and then there's the Fair Trade International, which is the most well-known global logo.
No. 2010, as we said before, Boston became the 20th fair trade town in the nation.
Yep.
I guess what does that distinction mean?
It just shows that you have a kind of a group that shares fair trade information and also the availability of fair trade within your community. So this whole idea of fair trade towns really started in the UK, and it just shows that there's a certain amount of fair trade being procured in your community, and you have a certain amount of access to it, as well as groups meeting around it and regularly educating their community. So I mean, we have fair trade towns now in the United States. We have fair trade colleges and universities. We have certified fair trade schools and places of worship. And in Boston, we have access to a lot of great fair trade products and a lot of great community members activating to kind of spread the word about it and educate their fellow citizens.
How can you talk a little bit more about, I guess, how it got started in Boston, fair trade?
Absolutely. I think it was really very much a faith-based movement here. It was a lot of members of local churches who wanted to see better coffee. They wanted to understand where their coffee was coming from, and they organized local community members, and then slowly businesses grew, and that's actually how I found out was through Ben & Jerry's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, what about this World Fair Trade Day? It's coming up.
Yeah.
When is it, and what are some of the plans that the Fair Trade Boston has for World Fair Trade Day.
Yeah, so we actually, we're partnering with a couple companies. We're partnering with Senda. So we're going to be going to some soccer programs, some youth soccer programs in the city and kind of talking to kids about where soccer balls come from, how they're made. We also want to do some treats, so we're partnering with Ben & Jerry's, and we're going to be using a local company from Maine called Maine Root. It's a root beer company, and we're going to be making root beer floats, kind of traveling around. Ice cream and is always a great way to have a conversation like this.
And when is it going to be again?
Saturday, May 9th.
Okay, and how can viewers get involved if they're interested?
They can go to our website. It's fairtradeboston.org.
Okay. Now, as a director of Ben & Jerry's Boston, again, talk to me how Ben & Jerry's fits into this. Ben & Jerry's is a fair trade product as well?
Absolutely, yeah. So Ben & Jerry's has made a full commitment to fair trade. All of their products that can be certified fair trade, things that are coming from the global south, these commodities are now certified fair trade. They spent about 7 years transitioning to all this. And it's something like Ben & Jerry's that shows that you can support local and global. You have a product like coffee ice cream, and you have dairy from Vermont farmers, and you have coffee from Mexican farmers and sugar from African farmers, all in one scoop of ice cream.
Okay, and we'll leave it right there. Ryan Edward Midden, thanks for coming in today. World Fair Trade Day coming up May 9th. All right, okay. Be
Thanks
there
for
and be
having me.
square. Okay, thanks for coming in, Ryan.
Cheers.
Okay, good luck with the program.
Thank you.
All right, when we return, the fight to raise the minimum wage, not only Boston, but across the nation, right here on Urban Update.